Hey, this is Tyler Main, Blackstar from Jupiter's Legacy, and you are listening to the Man Cave Chronicle podcast.
Tyler, welcome to the cave.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Exciting time for you, huh?
Yeah, it's been an exciting weekend, let's say, with the drop of Jupiter's Legacy.
Right. So yeah, man, you've had a pretty awesome career. You started off like I was doing some research on it. You've done like X-Men, you've done a Halloween. You've been busy.
I have been very busy. I've been very blessed.
Yeah. So
Knock
before
on
we talk, that's right. That's right. So before we get into all that too, like I was doing research and everything. I noticed that you started out playing football and then professional wrestling. How did that all happen? And then from there, how did it go into like pretty much into the acting world?
Yeah, I was. I want to give you the full backstory. I was a tall, skinny kid, glasses, braces. I was slightly dyslexic, and so I hated Monday through Friday. Worst time of my life, right? And when Saturday came along, I grew up in Canada, so I would watch Stampede Wrestling, the Hearts.
Right.
And I was like, I'm going to do that someday. And everybody's like, man, you're tall, but you're skinny. You're never going to be able to do that, right? And that just drove me to work out harder and train. And I did martial arts and that. And then after the wrestling, I would watch cartoons and then go into the action movies. And I go, I'm going to do that someday too, and basically just followed my dreams. And we're sitting here talking about it right now.
So what made you stop wrestling? Injuries or?
No, I wrestled professionally for about 11 and a half years, got to wrestle all over the world. Yeah. I was one of the last people to wrestle Andre in Japan. But I always saw myself transitioning into the acting. When I got that opportunity, I was like, yeah, I'm done getting dropped on my head every night. I'm going to go.
Right. Do you miss it?
Every once in a while, I will sit and think, oh man, I miss that. But then you think about the aches and pains and you're like, nah, we're good. We're good. Especially at my age, if I wake up in the morning and something isn't hurting, I'm going to be dead, I've paid my dues to get to where I am today. So
right. And the reason I'm asking this is because like I enjoyed the old school wrestling. I'm not into it as much anymore. It's like even when it's on TV, I don't care for it that much. But if it's old school, I'm in it. I watch it. That's why I was asking, because I know like a lot of old school people that were the wrestling, like, yeah, I miss it. I want to go back. That's why I had to ask you that.
Well, wrestling was different back then too. You could do a match and you come out with your injuries in the night. But now, they're jumping off things and it's just crazy. I'm glad I did it when I did it.
Right.
Because I wouldn't want to be doing that stuff that they're doing nowadays.
So after that ended, what was the first opportunity that you got in for the acting world?
Yeah, well, I was wrestling in Mexico, and I got an opportunity to do one of the Mexican wrestling movies. Have you ever seen any of those? I
have not.
You have not. You're not missing much, but they're pretty fun. They're entertaining.
Yeah.
And I got asked to do a one of those movies. I said, well, I don't speak Spanish very well. Are you sure you want me? They go, we're going to dub you. No problem. So I ended up playing an intergalactic vampire that traveled the world, and I was chasing a woman wrestler, and I shot laser beams through my fingertips, and I had a pink fog that followed me everywhere. But and no, I'm not going to tell you the name of that movie.
I'm sure it's on IMDb. We can look it up.
Well, hopefully it's buried, but it was the start of all of it, and I realized then that I would prefer doing the acting. Yeah. And I transitioned. Then from there, I got the Smoking the Bandit sequel. I was still wrestling with the WCW, and I was on my way out, and they called and said, "Hey, do you want to do this? We need a tall blonde wrestler." I had hair back then, and ended up doing that. And then from there, I ended up getting the Sabretooth role in the first X-Men, and King Ajax and Troy, and then on to the Halloweens, and then I started my own production company, Main Entertainment, where we've got 2 pictures out. We've got Compound Fracture and Penance Lane that are out streaming now, so everybody go check them out. And then I had an opportunity to come on board for Jupiter's Legacy.
That's awesome. Yeah, let's dive right into that. Like, how did that happen? Was it an audition? Like, was the role offered to you? What were the steps?
Yeah, I auditioned for it. They asked me to audition for it. They wanted to take a look at me, and when I read the material, I was just blown away. You know, the character of Blackstar he's so sarcastic and snarky. I don't know. Have you seen?
Yeah. I've seen a few episodes already.
Yeah, so you got to see a little bit of the Blackstar that I'm talking about. You know, it was great to be able to take a character like that to the next level,
right?
And make him what he is. You know, I mean, he's sarcastic, he's snarky, snide, intelligent, powerful, and he's got this antimatter battery, so he can go nuclear at any point in time. And I'm the one that gives the Union all kinds of hell and brimstone, so to speak. You know, I take out 3 of them in the first battle, but is it really me? That's the question.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, that's that scene in the first episode. It's like how would you describe that? Like that fighting scene?
I mean, it was just crazy epic. There's a video out showing the behind the scenes of the making of it now. I think Netflix just put it out today, or Jupiter's Legacy Netflix did. And I mean, it just shows just how intense it is. That was about a 3-month process of fight choreography training, getting it ready, and just getting prepared to do that, because there was a lot that needed to be explained in a short period of time.
Yeah. So your character, the Jupiter's Legacy is based off comics and books also. Like, how similar is the character from the comics to the one that you portray?
Well, yeah, I mean, so to back it up a little bit, when I did my audition, or when I got the audition for it, I saw that it was Jupiter's Legacy, and with my wife being in the comic industry, I said, "Hey, I need to get my hands on these comic books," and so she was right all over it, and I got the comic books. And if you've read the Jupiter's Legacy comic books, you see that Blackstar doesn't stay in there as long, you know, and he's in and out quickly. Thankfully, they didn't do it as a feature, because then they probably wouldn't have had the time to tell the whole story. So with this, we get to see a little bit of Blackstar and what's happening, and how it could lead into the future of next seasons with the character Blackstar.
I gotta ask, the suit and everything, how long did it take you to put all that on?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It took about 2.5 to 3 hours.
Wow.
I have it was like 8 different pieces that were glued tight to my face, and it was done that way so that every movement I did, I could do. And while the process was being done, and they were gluing on another piece and another piece and another piece, when it was finally done, and I opened my eyes and saw Blackstar, it's like, he's back, you know, Blackstar. The process put me in the mood to play Blackstar.
Yeah. Like, sort of like, out of all the characters you've played before, was this the most exciting, fun?
Yeah, you know, for a character like this, for a super villain or a villain, yes, most definitely, because he's got so much going on. You know, I mean, he's got the power and he's got the strength, but he's got the intelligence. You know, and I think it's just hilarious that in my downtime, I'm wearing glasses and reading romance novels, looking for love.
So during on set when you had the costume on and everything, like, and you said it takes 2.5 hours to put it on, like how long did you have it on throughout the day?
I would have it on for, up to 12, I think the longest I had it on was probably 14.
Wow.
And it has a cooling suit, so they'd plug it in. It's like basically what the NASCAR race drivers wear.
Okay.
And it sends ice water through you to cool your system. And if you didn't have that, you just wouldn't be able to make it. It's when you put that suit on and they zip and seal you in and glue you into that suit, it's like a time clock starts ticking. Your energy is draining, and then when you have to move, it was made out of all that rubber. So anytime you're moving, just walking to set was crazy. I mean, if you've seen my Instagram posts, I posted a picture of how I got to set. It's like on the
I saw you on the truck, yeah.
Like on the back of a gator because I couldn't fit into a van. Yeah. It was so big, this suit, and it just makes it so fantastic. He is a big badass.
So I assume you do your own stunts too?
Well, I do my own stunts, but I had a stunt double for this, which, I mean, without him, I wouldn't be able to do it. I mean, it's his name's Nate Andrade, and he did a fantastic job, and it was kind of like he'd go in and do some stuff and do the flashy stuff. Then I'd come in and I'd do the close-up grunts and the dialogue and so I kind of handed the torch to him a bit and let him have fun with that stuff. But it was physically draining wearing that suit.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
So before we spoke, I went online and I wanted to read a couple things about your character on the forums, and a lot of people are praising your character. They're putting you up there with Thanos. How do you feel about something like that?
I'm honored. I'm honored. Blackstar. I just had so much fun playing Blackstar. Like the first scene that we did was when I come in and see my body. Yeah. And I was just as snarky as I could be and as cocky and witty, and I just brought those little nuances, and it was interesting because the producers were like, you're having fun playing this. I go, well, hell yeah, this is a character to play, man. And then it was actually really great because, like, when Blackstar would come on to the set, people are like, oh yeah, now we're doing it, because it's there.
Right.
That's
awesome.
Intense supervillain.
Did you have any difficulties playing the character? Was there days or times where you're like how do you want to play a certain scene with him?
Yeah, I mean, like, we would be shooting long into the nights, and the whole scenes in episode 7 and episode 8 were all filmed in one shot. And there was like 10 pages of dialogue, and it's all me just going off riffing. And it was really physically draining because I mean, I've got to grab this guy, drag him down a hallway, deliver the dialogue, and hit the marks. It was intense, but it was a lot of fun because I don't know. For me, when I get on a set, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I love it. I just love it.
So out of all the episodes you filmed, what do you think was your favorite scene that you were in?
Favorite scene has got to be with Brainwave in the cell. Have you seen that scene yet?
I haven't got there yet. Well,
okay, then I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to let you get there, and then we can talk again. But
sounds great.
It's pretty cool. I'm very proud of that.
Was there a certain superhero you would have played in the show if you couldn't play Blackstar? Or do you think you were meant for Blackstar?
I think I was meant for Blackstar. I'm a super villain. I'm not a
Would you
super.
ever want to play a superhero someday?
They don't get to have fun.
You know, a lot of people that I've had on the show, they played the villains. They rather play the villains.
Yeah,
They love playing the villains.
it. That's where you get to have the most fun. You know, you get to bring that attitude, and it was a blast.
Was this filmed in Canada?
Yeah, we filmed it in
Vancouver,
Toronto,
Toronto.
Toronto at the Pinewood Studios. Yeah.
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 How was it filming this like throughout the whole, you know, with the pandemic and the bubble and everything?
Well, we filmed this before. We wrapped before the pandemic hit, just before
Okay.
the pandemic
Oh
hit.
wow.
So we were lucky there, you know, and to put the show all episodes out at the same time takes a long time with
Wow.
the effects that they were putting in and stuff, and they wanted to make sure it was done right. So it was basically spending the whole time of the pandemic sitting there going, okay, when's Jupiter's Legacy going to drop? Come on, you know. And then when it did, it's been well worth it and exciting.
Did you get a chance to watch these episodes before it got released to everybody?
I got to see the first episode.
Okay.
And that was it, you know. So I was going along for that ride with everybody else, and to see, it's just amazing how they tell the backstory of what these characters went through.
Yeah.
And the torment and the anguish, and then they get these superpowers, and now how are they going to deal with it? And then you jump to the future where they're
Older
and into it, and then you got the next generation, and they're wondering if they can pass the torch. I mean, it's so relevant today's society too, you know, and dealing with the politics and the financial crisis and stuff, and that's one thing that drew me to it too, is it was so relevant with what is going on today in the world.
What was like your family's and friends' reaction when they watched this and they watched you perform as Blackstar? Like, did your phone go off crazy with the crazy text messages?
Yeah. You know, I mean, my biggest critic and my best judge is my wife, Renee, because she is in business, you know, she's my partner with Main Entertainment. And she thoroughly loved it. I was like a kid in a candy. What do you think? What do you think? And she just looked at me and she's like, you know. So I was like, okay, all right, we did good.
So the show released last Friday. Has there been any word yet for season 2? Have you heard any rumblings or anything? Or
you know, it's gonna be a hurry up and wait. Hurry up. And wait.
You're hoping for season 2.
I mean, I just hope that Blackstar people enjoy the character and want to see more of him, because I would love to go through the backstory of how Blackstar became who he is, and why he's dealing with the situation he is, and why he's, you know, after Utopia.
Yeah, maybe we need a Blackstar prequel on Netflix.
There you go, Blackstar spinoff.
Yeah, start writing it. You got the business going.
There you go.
So what's next for you? Any other projects that you could tell the listeners and the viewers about?
Yeah, through Main Entertainment, we are doing our own graphic novel, because I mean, growing up and following comic books and everything, I'm kind of like a geek and a nerd for them. So we're doing our own comic book through Main Entertainment. It's loosely based on the book called The Last Spartan. We're going to probably be renaming it, but it would be if Sons of Anarchy meets The Punisher meets human trafficking. And it's going to be dark, deep, and gritty. And we just signed the writer, which is Christopher Priest, who wrote the Black Panthers and among many other things. And I just love his style of writing, because he's got that kind of grit and twist and snarkiness to him, kind of like I do. I've had many conversations with him, and I'm very excited. It's going to be a great graphic novel.
Wow. And is your plan to actually to do a comic with this first, and then maybe a movie, or what?
Yeah, we're doing the comic book first. I mean,
Okay.
I've always wanted to do a comic book because
Yeah.
Renee, my wife Renee Geerlings was the editor in chief of Top Cow comic books. She was with
Right.
Radical and with all these other ones. She actually worked on Wanted, Mark Miller's project through Top Cow.
Yeah.
So I've always wanted to do a graphic novel, and I'm very excited about being able to do that because I just love flipping through the pages and seeing what's coming next.
So like, what's the process of that? You have to like hire first a person that can draw the characters the way you want them, and then the writer comes in and
Well,
how does
no,
that work?
First, you have the writer come on board.
Okay.
We have
All right.
presets on board. We have artists that we want to do. You got your pencil, you got your inking, you got your coloring. There's so many different processes to it, but that's what Renee's world was and still is. Putting all of that together. So we were thinking, why not use all her resources to create a kick-ass hell of a graphic novel. So that's awesome. That's what we're in the process of doing.
Yeah. What's your goal date for that?
We're going to be hopefully kicking it off in the next few months, probably 3 or 4 months.
Oh wow, that's pretty a quick turnaround for something like that.
Well, we won't be releasing it. We're going to be fully announcing it and showing some beginning artwork and things like that. It usually takes just about a year or so to put it all together, depending on how many pages you have. I mean, if you're doing a full graphic novel, you're anywhere from 88 to 104 pages, somewhere in there, and you have to have the writing and then the penciling and coloring and inking and the whole process you go through.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Lastly, Tyler, how can the listeners and the viewers find you on social media?
Yeah, Instagram is the real Tyler Main. Facebook and Twitter is Tyler Main. Check me out. And go to the real Tyler Main on Instagram, and you can see a lot of the pictures and stuff from Jupiter's Legacy and my past history and career in wrestling and stuff.
Tyler, this was great. Thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. Anytime, man. I'd love to come back.